In this video, I'm going to show you one of my absolute favorite patterns in all of mathematics. And if you want an extra hard challenge, you should pause the video right now and just try to answer based on what's on the screen. What's the pattern? If you want me to tell you what's going on first, this pattern involves dominoes. So a domino is a little 2x1 rectangle. So it's like two squares that have been glued together. And we are counting the number of ways to do something with these dominoes. In particular, we're counting the number of ways to tile a certain region. If you have one domino, the region we're tiling is just the shape of one domino, and there's only one way. You got to put the domino vertically right there where it goes. If you have two dominoes, the region we're tiling is a 2x2 square, and there are two ways to do the tiling. You can do two vertical dominoes, or you could do two horizontal dominoes, and those are two perfectly good ways to tile this 2x2 region. With three dominoes, we are tiling a region of shape 3x2. So it's 3 wide, the number of dominoes we have, and 2 tall. Again, you can do all vertical, that's always an option, but this time there are two other ways you can do it using a combination of two horizontal and one vertical domino. So one vertical and two horizontal like that, or two horizontal and one vertical the other way. Altogether, there are three ways. Now you might think the pattern is to tile this shape of some number of dominoes wide by 2 high is just the number. So it goes one way, two ways, three ways for 1, 2, or 3 dominoes. But then when we get to 4 dominoes, that breaks. Now it is 5 ways to do it. Again, you can do all vertical, 1, 2, 3, 4 vertical, or you can do 4 horizontal, 1, 2, 3, 4 horizontal, or you can do a mixture of horizontal and vertical with 2 horizontal and 2 vertical dominoes done in one of 3 different ways. Now the question is, what is the pattern? What in general is the number of ways you can tile dominoes, where the number of dominoes you use is how wide you go. So for 5 dominoes, you would do a 5 wide rectangle, and we're always doing height 2. What is the number of ways you can do it with 5 dominoes? What is the number of ways you can do it in general? What is the pattern? And if you've never seen this problem before, I really super duper highly encourage you to pause the video now for real and actually try to do it. So get a piece of paper out. You can draw vertical lines for the vertical dominoes and little horizontal lines for the horizontal dominoes. Try to figure out what is the answer to 5 dominoes. Here's the super slick trick that shows you what the pattern is and what the number is going to be. The trick is for us to take all the possible domino tilings of this 5x2 region and split it up based on what happens right at the end. So we're going to take all the possible domino tilings, we're going to split it up into 2 categories, either regions that end with a horizontal domino or regions that end with a vertical domino. And specifically what I mean is we're going to break up all the possibilities into 2 cases. The cases that end with 2 horizontal dominoes like this, that'll be one column. We'll do that one kind of separately on its own. And then we're going to do one where they end with a vertical domino separately on its own. And we're going to calculate these 2 things separately, count them up, and then we're going to add them all together to figure out the total number. Now, the reason this works is because these are the only 2 possible things that can happen at the end of the domino tiling. If you're going to cover up the last column, you either have to cover it up with horizontal dominoes or vertical dominoes. So let's see the number of ways to do both of these things. The thing to recognize is that when you put down these 2 horizontal dominoes, what you have left over are 3 spaces. 3 spaces. Those are the only flexibility you have in the domino tilings over here. So we must have some kind of way to tile those 3 spaces. And this is a problem we've already done. We've already figured out how to tile a 3x2 region. That was our 3 domino situation. And what this means is the number of ways we can tile 5 dominoes that definitely end with these 2 horizontal ones is actually exactly the same as the number of ways we can tile 3 dominoes with no restrictions whatsoever. So we can just copy over the 3 domino tilings we did already. We can copy those over to that column over there. Okay, so there's 3 ways to do that one. What about the vertical dominoes? Same exact idea. When you have a vertical domino and you say, I must have a vertical domino in that last column, what does that leave you with? It leaves you with a region with 4 dominoes to be filled in. And we've already done all the possible ways to fill in 4 dominoes. That was our 4 domino tilings over here. There were 5 ways to do that one. So there's 3 ways to do it where it ends with a horizontal. There's 5 ways to do it where it ends with a vertical. Altogether, that makes a total of 8 ways. If you got all 8 ways, congratulations, you got it right. More importantly though, we are starting to see the pattern, and the method we used here is revealing what's going on here. So the pattern goes, there's 1 way, 2 ways, 3 ways, 5 ways, 8 ways. And we saw actually that this 8 came from summing up the 2 previous numbers. 8 was the sum of 3 and 5. The 3 and 5 came from the previous ways, 3 and 5. In other words, the pattern at play here is exactly the Fibonacci numbers. It goes 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Every number is the sum of the previous 2 numbers. We have discovered that domino tilings are naturally counted by the Fibonacci numbers. The way we would write this down mathematically is to write something like Fn, the nth Fibonacci number, is equal to the number of ways to tile this 2 by n grid with dominoes. And as part of our argument, we saw the proof of why this was. So Fn is by definition equal to Fn minus 1, the previous Fibonacci number, plus Fn minus 2, the Fibonacci number 2 before it. The sum of the last two numbers gives you the next number. And we saw that Fn minus 1 was also equal to the number of domino tilings of an n by 2 grid that end in a vertical. That's what we saw before. And Fn minus 2 is the number that end in a horizontal. And that's because once you fix either the horizontal or the vertical domino at the end, you have these regions that you fill in, and there's either n minus 1 spots when you do a vertical or n minus 2 spots when you do a horizontal. Now, this is an amazing fact already. I love this so much, and it's so cool to me that the Fibonacci numbers appear sort of in nature in this way, very specifically. But this is the other cool thing you can do with this. You can go the other way around. In other words, we started with a problem about domino tilings, and it turned out the answer was Fibonacci numbers. But you can do the reverse. You could start with a problem that is only about Fibonacci numbers, does not mention domino tilings anywhere in the problem, but is actually solved by using domino tilings. I'll give you an example of this. Fibonacci fact. For any a and b, we have the identity that fa plus b, the a plus bth Fibonacci number, equals this crazy product. It's fa times fb plus fa minus 1 times fb minus 1. To give you a concrete example of what we're saying here, imagine, for example, that a equals 4 and b equals 3. Then on the left-hand side, we're talking about f7, which is the 7th Fibonacci number, which is equal to 21. On the right-hand side of the equation, we're talking about f4 times f3 plus f3 times f2. These are Fibonacci numbers we've done already. f4 was 5 times 3 plus 3 times 2. And if you add that up, you should get 15 plus 6, which is equal to 21. So in other words, the Fibonacci numbers have this kind of symmetry that's baked into it, and it works for any a and b, that the fa plus b Fibonacci number is this weird combination of fa and fb, and fa minus 1 and fb minus 1. Now, if I gave this to you as a problem, it's got, I can state it just in terms of Fibonacci numbers, and I can say, can you prove this on its own? If you wanted to prove it just using the formula for the Fibonacci numbers, that it's the sum of the previous two, this is kind of an annoying proof by induction. But it turns out there's a beautiful proof using domino tilings, which is actually how I discovered this thing in the first place. And if you know about these domino tilings, you can make all sorts of crazy identities for the Fibonacci numbers that come from domino tiling. Now, this is one of my favorite proof techniques. It is called double counting. And the secret here is that both sides of this equation are both counting a number of objects in two different ways. And because they're counting the same number of objects in two different ways, they must be equal. So the way I would write this down is like this. Proof, the left-hand side and the right-hand side. They both count the number of domino tilings of a 2 by a plus b grid. The left-hand side is the a plus b Fibonacci number. That is exactly the same one we had before. There's fa plus b ways to tile this region where you do a plus b wide. So in this example, I'm doing a is 4 and b is 3. So you make a strip of length 7, just all the possible ways you could tile that. That is fa plus b. That's the left-hand side. Now the right-hand side is going to count the exact same thing, tilings of this 2 by a plus b rectangle, but it's going to count it in a different way. And specifically, we're going to divide all the possible tilings into two cases. And the two cases this time depend on what is going on in the left a squares and what is going on in the right b squares. So remember, this rectangle is length a plus b. We're going to look at the left a and the right b separately. And one possible thing that can happen, I call this case 1, right-hand side case 1, is that there is a split. You can tile the left a squares separately from the right b squares. And I've drawn it over there. I've drawn the left ones in red and the right ones in blue. So you can see you can tile any tiling you want for the left. There's FA ways to do that. Any way you want to arrange those red tiles, you can do that in FA ways. That is a valid tiling. And it can pair with any tiling of the right B rectangle. So there's FB ways to do that, the B Fibonacci number. You can take those blue tiles and you can rearrange them in FB ways to tile that little region. Any way you do that will be a valid configuration for the total thing of length A plus B. This is one way you can get a purple tiling, is by combining a red tiling with a blue tiling in my little coloring scheme over here. But you might ask, okay, is there really anything else? Like, isn't that the only way to tile it? But no, there is another case, and that is when you cannot split cleanly down the middle. So when you can split cleanly down the middle on the left A and the right B, I call that case 1. When you cannot split cleanly down the middle, I call that case 2, and case 2 looks like this. In case 2, there are some horizontal dominoes that cross exactly on the seam between the left A squares and the right B squares. So this is the kind of picture you get in that situation. There must be some horizontal dominoes right down the middle. And when there are horizontal dominoes right down the middle, you have not A squares on the left, you have A minus 1 squares on the left. And so there are FA minus 1 squares to tile the left half of this kind of configuration, and there are FB minus 1 squares to tile the right B minus 1 squares, the right half of this kind of configuration. So if you're in case 1, there's FA times FB ways in total. If you're in case 2, there's FA minus 1 times FB minus 1 ways total. Altogether, we know case 1 and case 2 count exactly the same thing as this left-hand side, which there's FA plus B ways. So it must be that FA plus B equals the product of FA times FB plus FA minus 1 times FB minus 1. So hopefully in this video, I've convinced you that domino tilings have some really beautiful math behind them. And already the Fibonacci numbers appear in this really simple region. A 2 by n strip already has this beautiful, nice identities, these nice Fibonacci numbers appearing. That's really it for the content of this video, but I wanted to give you a little teaser for something else I'm working on. So let me move myself over here just to the middle, and let me show you some other regions that you can tile with dominoes. This little thing is called the Aztec diamond region, and it's kind of this shaped pyramid. You can make it bigger or smaller. So this is when the case when n equals 4, it has 4 rows that kind of sort of copy on the bottom, and then 4 rows that copy on the top. And it turns out, just like the Fibonacci numbers, there's a beautiful answer for the total number of ways to tile this with dominoes. It's this crazy power of 2. Now, when you sample from this crazy power of 2 number of tilings, you sample one at random, you get these nice little pictures that look like this. I have a little notebook that I'll link in the description that lets you generate a lot of these. And let me show you some of these pictures. So this is when n equals 4. This is what it looks like. The dominoes here are all regular dominoes, but I have colored them in one of 4 colors by a secret mysterious formula that maybe I'll reveal later. But here are some other pictures of what it looks like. Here's when n equals 10, and here's when n equals 20. Here's when n equals 30 and n equals 50. And remember, these are just totally random ways to tile these Aztec diamond shapes. And the cool thing that you see is as you start to make the numbers bigger and bigger, you start to see patterns between the different types of dominoes. So when n equals 70, it sort of looks like this. And you start to notice this sort of circular region in the middle, which some people call the Arctic Circle. And there's nice theorems that called the Arctic Circle theorem that says the kind of the ways the dominoes have to tile kind of converges to this circular region. So I'm working on another video about this. I actually really got excited about this recently because another Ruth posted a video about determinants in mathematics, and these Arctic circle shapes really come from the same kinds of determinants that were done in that video of using determinants to count certain things in the same way we use the Fibonacci numbers to count domino tilings at the beginning of the video. So if you're into that, make sure you subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in that later video.